Welcome to Pit Warning. I'm Wesley Decker. With me, as always, is Justin Davidson.
Hey there.
Kyle Vaughn.
Are we? Hi.
Present.
What are we?
And Nate Rippey.
Hello.
How you guys doing tonight?
Awesome.
Doing good. Doing good.
Excellent. All right. I think we're 3 episodes deep, so going strong. Shout out to all 2 of our listeners.
Both of
What's
them.
up? Yep. What's up, Athiel? What's up, Rennie?
Oh yeah, and hi Messina. Hey babe.
Oh, hi, Messina. I'm sorry. The
Hey,
OG.
Messina.
Another
yeah.
one.
The Patreon level listener. Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. So speaking of sort of patient zero, anything originals, that is the topic for this, I guess, months at this rate, podcast. Bands or songs that were firsts, that were ground zero of starting something or doing something that then became a thing. So we were all talking before. This one was really fucking hard. Just because the more you think about a band or a song and the fact that nothing is created in a vacuum from nothing, you can kind of just keep going back until ultimately you probably just land at like, well, the blues, I guess the blues started it all, or at least that's where my brain went. So I made my sort of best attempt at pinpointing 3 songs or bands or things that I feel like started something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be really curious to see if we all have our hand on the same piece of low-hanging fruit, because I have a feeling we might.
We'll see.
All right.
All right.
Say it, Wesley.
What's that?
Just say it.
Just say it. All right. You want me to go first? Actually, I'm plagiarizing myself because I think I said this in a different one. At the very least, I've said this in conversations with you guys, but Cave In Crossbearer, the singing part specifically, I would argue spawned 100 imitators throughout the late 90s and early aughts within the metallic hardcore scene. Often duplicated, never...
Often imitated, never duplicated, my man.
There we go. Thank you. I would say that's very pertinent to this particular part. If you haven't heard the song, very heavy, very late 90s metallic hardcore, and then sort of out of nowhere leads to a soaring singing part that kind of sounds like it could be out of a like a Sunny Day Real Estate song, like Sunny Day Adjacent, maybe.
It is not sung well. It is not. That part.
I would take issue with that. I don't think it's sung poorly. I don't think it's great, but I think there's worse.
It was very like 90s emo singing.
Yeah.
And somewhat, that was the style. It was intentionally bad.
Yeah, I was just reading about one of those bands that just get ridiculed. It might have been the Promise Ring, for just having like a god awful singer. But
Yeah. Super out of tune. Yeah, either of those bands.
Yeah.
Braid had the worst singer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who had the worst singer? Can you see that again?
Braid?
Oh, yes.
Braid.
Okay.
But it was great.
Well,
it was great.
I think we know who's not going to come on the show now. But
Well, I think he knows it.
Yeah.
We talked to him about it.
Oh, okay, cool.
I guess we won't have Brad Braid on the show anytime soon.
Is that what his name?
Brian
Brad
Braid. But yeah, anyways, this part in this sort of structure became a template for a ton of songs within a ton of bands, and in my opinion definitely got overused to the point where now it kind of makes my skin crawl when I hear the clean singing part come in. And we said this before, to be clear, when I say clean singing part, I mean like the quote unquote emo style of things. Like we talked about like Stephen Brodsky before, and I think it's actually Stephen Brodsky in this case anyways, who does the singing. I know a different dude did the screaming in this song. But yeah, just the like mosh, 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 snarl, 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 growl, growl, growl into, oh, I miss my girlfriend so much, I'm gonna go home and cry about it. It's two tastes that don't taste great together, in my opinion, with the exception of Crossbearer. I think Crossbearer is a great song.
Well, it had like some kind of evil, like they early Cave In and Converge pulled a lot of like Slayer kind of, riffs where they had that whatever that devil's chord or whatever it's called. But then when it comes to the melodic part, it's such a kind of a tonal shift. It was definitely gave you kind of whiplash at the time, and it stood out because no one else had really done it that well, or quite that heavy to quite that melodic maybe. I thought about the song, maybe adding it to my list. And then if I can add a sidebar to it, there's another band and song that I thought kind of did a similar thing. It was later, but it was Coalesce versus Boys That's Fire, the split.
Oh fuck yeah, that's a great split.
And there's that part when the chorus comes in on that, you have Sean Ingram doing the heavy screaming. Well, I think it's the dude from the Get Up Kids.
He was
doing
drummer.
the melodic part.
Yeah.
But then they brought in the singer for the like, because the drummer went on to do Reggie in the Full Effect too. Blah blah blah. But anyways, the first time that I heard someone screaming while someone was singing, at the same time, and subsequently, not like one and then the other.
Yep.
And that also was just super rad, I thought.
Nice. Fuck, man. I remember loving that 7-inch when it came out. I have it somewhere and I haven't listened to it in years. And I think you inspired me to listen to it this weekend. Yeah. I guess just to sort of sign off and speak a little bit about like what Justin mentioned earlier. The closest I could sort of get in this realm, in thinking about this dynamic, I kind of went down to Gorilla Biscuits, because you would do sort of Civ would do like a shouty and then a screamy type of thing, and then there was kind of a similar dynamic in Embrace, the Ian MacKaye band after Minor Threat. And I'm sure I could kind of keep going, but for hardcore specifically, that was sort of the lineage I had in my mind. But none of those bands kind of like had the definitive quote unquote part that then a zillion other people just sort of jumped on and milked for all it's worth. So
that's deep. And you did that was to my question about like, this is something that you witnessed.
Yeah. I bore witness to the cross-bearing of Cave In.
Did you bore witness it?
That's a heavy cross to bear.
It is.
Struggling right now. Missing I'm sorry.
Nate, edit all this last part out. All right. Anyways.
I'm struggling right now.
I'm keeping this in, by the way.
Shit.
It stays in.
All right. I'm done talking about Cave In. Nate, I'll throw it to you. What's your 0 point song or band or thing?
Okay, so like I said, I'm mainly staying metal, and I'll probably go somewhat chronologically with mine. But this is one I've actually thought about a lot. So everyone knows, obviously, the part from One by Metallica, the breakdown, like
son of a bitch.
Okay, well wait. So I would argue that is the most influential riff in modern metal. Because every pretty much metallic, hardcore band or modern metal band does some variation of double kick with chug, and this was like where it first came out in like a fast staccato way. So, and everyone has kind of ripped that off, Whereas if you argued like Slayer or Black Sabbath, well, Slayer, every time someone does a Slayer riff, you're like, hey, that's a Slayer riff, this one riff is so ubiquitous that you just don't even notice it anymore. It's just everywhere, you know. And I think we all maybe remember, I certainly do, when we first heard that part, and it was just so fucking epic, you know, so shocking and just kick ass.
Are you saying like that's the first proto breakdown riff?
I'm not saying the
like
first,
heavy
definitely not the first
breakdown,
breakdown, but it's the first time that like palm muted chugs over double kick. That to my knowledge, that it came out and was just like dropped in a song that way. But here's my like, you know, nesting doll part is that was inspired by I don't know if you guys maybe already know this, but a year before Dark Angel came out with their self-titled album, and that was I think the band is still like gets together and does stuff, but
They do.
the notable part of that is Gene Hoglan, the drummer, who at the time and like for years, for like kind of decades, was considered maybe one of the best, you know, metal drummers. He did a Death album. I'm trying to remember which one. He played in a bunch of crazy bands, but he's super fast. And anyway, there's a song. It's the intro track to their album Darkness Descends, and the song's called Darkness Descends, and you can totally hear. It came out a year before And Justice for All, and there's this you know, this intro, and then this part drops where it's exactly that exact drum break, you know, and there's bass playing along to it. But then when the guitar comes, the guitar's not like chugging along to it. It's kind of doing this little squirrely kind of death metal-y thing. But anyway, it's very obvious if you listen to it. It's like, oh yeah, that's Metallica obviously heard this and then kind of aped it. But then they also like added the like palm muted part that like really kind of took it over the top. So no, it's just a really interesting piece of, I think, metal lore of like, oh yeah, you could totally hear that through line, kind of like you said. And I'm sure Gene Hoglan got the idea somewhere, but to do like a really kind of staccato double kick, broken double kick part, you know, I mean, what band hasn't, you know, done that since then, including, this might be a little bit foreshadowing, but including Meshuggah, who like kind of even took that and made that even crazier, you know. Anyway, that's my first one.
That's awesome.
Well,
That's a. I thought about that song. I thought about
I sure did too.
when you and side note as far as historical reference with that song and that album. Can you believe that they got nominated for a Grammy and then got beat out by Jethro Tull
Yeah, that's crazy.
for that? And they played one at the Grammys, and it was like fucking rad.
Well, that video when it came out, you know, it's the first time they'd ever done a video. It was so heavy. You remember it's all black and white and
Yeah.
just so dramatic and like
Johnny
well
got
done.
his gun.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. To answer your question, Justin, I can believe it because having known people who are voting members of the Grammys, you would be hard to find a more out of touch group of people.
I thought you were gonna say how rad Jethro Tull is.
Are you down with the Tull? He's just a flute flamingo. That's what I think of. Yeah. Well, fuck. That was my second pick.
What were you gonna say about it? I'm curious.
I didn't go as deep of a dive as you did.
Yeah, it was deep.
I guess to sort of something that Kyle threw out before, even if it wasn't sort of the origin of that, to my mind, it still heavily influenced everything that came out after.
Mm-hmm.
I think a ton of kids probably around our age like made a mental note of that part and then put their own spin on it for their subsequent bands. I know I certainly did.
That song probably was responsible for more double kick pedal sales than any other
Totally
song ever.
The only thing when you were sort of going down the musicality of it, I was going through my brain banks. What do you think of and I know it's different rhythmically, but what do you think of Rain and Blood, like once the song kicks in the double bass part?
That
That's
was my pick. I almost picked
shit.
one. I
Hey,
almost
guess
picked one, but then I picked Rain and Blood instead.
Well, good. Oh,
do
well,
it,
that's a good
dude.
segue.
Yeah, speak on Rain and Blood.
Wasn't so much for like the double bass of the intro part, but the breakdown
Yeah,
that's in that song.
yeah. Oh,
That
good call.
was
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
came out before Rain and Blood came out before
Mhm.
one did.
Mhm.
I just looked it
And-
up. It was 86.
Yep. So
Yep.
that part of influencing not only just like a double bass like chug, but like a break in the song that is the double bass chug part, you know. It's that like that's the song where like, oh, here comes the part. Here's the part. That's
Yep.
the part. Now we're in the part. This is the part. Yeah, and I think that's sort of set up the formula for a lot of metalcore, all the stuff that influenced us so much.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
totally. I feel like Slayer's use of double bass was much more like relentless and kind of nonstop breakneck, you know, whereas the one was kind of more broken up, kind of staccato. That, you know, I don't know.
Just hum the Rain and Blood breakdown in your head to yourself right now. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Well, take a pause.
Oh,
Do
in
it.
your head. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was
just
about
do
to
it.
do that one.
What? Hum it for us. Hum it for us, Kyle. Give
I've
it to
never
us. Come
actually
on.
heard that song, so I'm not really. I don't have a reference to it.
What are we talking about?
I'll have to check that out.
Slayer?
Bigfoot's real, man.
Slaier.
Yeah. Ba 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 ba. You know.
Yeah.
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 Good.
That's got to be
It's awesome.
that's got to be a 0 point, doesn't it?
For sure.
For me, it
Mhm.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
For some
yeah, it
nerd
is.
out there, no, but I don't care.
He's not listening.
No, no, he's not. Justin, do you got anything, or do you want to
Yeah.
just
So
abstain?
no. I could have a segue into this,
All
and
right.
and mine wasn't a 0 point song per se, but I wanted to um I guess talk about a band, and it's a pretty good segue for it, considering we're talking about Metallica and talking about Slayer, and we're talking about thrash. And I wanted to. I know it came out after Kill 'Em All, but I wanted to talk about Exodus's "Bonded by Blood,"
Oh shit.
because Exodus, I believe they were formed in 1979. I'm not positive, but I think that they started playing before the 80s, and along with, you know, you had Metallica, Exodus, of course you had like Death Angel, Testament, Possessed. They were all these bands that were out of the Bay Area at the time, but essentially, I think from my recollection and stuff that I've talked to, you know, people that I've talked to and things that I've read in the past, is that Exodus was kind of the band that started the thrash sound. And I think that Bonded by Blood, their first album, is 100% their best album. And the whole thing was, I believe it was completely written and composed by Gary Holt, who still is in Exodus. And Gary Holt plays in
Slayer.
Slayer now after
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Hanneman died.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, of course, like, you know, those guys have all known each other for 50 years, almost 40 years, I guess. But yeah, everything about it is fucking ripping, and the title track's ripping.
Love
The
that record.
album covers insane.
Oh yeah.
You know, it got pulled off the shelves, and I think I want to say that the album came out in '84. I know Kill 'Em All came out in '83. Um, Bonded by Blood was, I think, Exodus and the record label had like a big, huge beef for a while. And I think it took either a year or two for the album to actually get released. So I'm not exactly sure when it was recorded I'm not sure if it was recorded before Kill 'Em All, but yeah, that was one of my picks for thrash, Bay Area thrash, because I think I'm gonna kind of stay with Bay Area kind of bands for this podcast as well as the other ones, but
yeah, please, that's awesome.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so my
but
pick was Exodus.
for sure. It was it must have been after, because Kirk Hammett was in Exodus and then left to join Metallica before recording Kill 'Em All.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm.
And yeah, I think they're from Richmond.
I think you're right. Yeah,
I think they're from Richmond, and then Metallica was from El Cerrito.
Yeah, and then I think I saw some interview with Metallica, and they were talking about how they would all hang out at Exodus's Richmond apartment and just trash it.
Well, I remember I forgot what it was. It might have been like an MTV's Behind the Music or something like that. But I started drinking Jägermeister strictly because of Exodus and Metallica, because they talked about that Richmond apartment where they would just take every single piece of furniture out of the apartment and put it in the front yard, and then just put a case of Jägermeister in each room and just fucking destroy the entire place. And I don't know, looking back at it, just what if you were their neighbors, man? What if their next door neighbors was that group of clowns, dude? It'd be wild times. But
not to go down too much of the rabbit hole, but sometimes I do think about how it was sort of wild that back in the day, literally the music you listened to did kind of mean that you were probably a shitty person. You know? Like
100%.
if you were into
how has that
punk rock.
changed? I'm kidding.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah,
but just hearing wild ass stories, and then even in retrospect, all these guys were just like, I don't know, we were just alcoholics and kind of shitty dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, to really hammer that point home, go ahead and go home and watch Heavy Metal Parking Lot. Every single person that gets interviewed in that is the biggest piece of shit of all time.
I haven't seen that in so long.
Yeah, I'm probably due up to watch that again.
But let me maybe take this to a different spot. But we talk about 0 point bands or whatever, but really, I mean, these thrash bands were 0 point for the Bay Area to put Bay Area on the map for one of the most, influential periods, if not in heavy music, right? I mean, if not for especially Metallica, but certainly the contributions of the other bands. A lot of the other bands we talk about, probably wouldn't even exist. So it's definitely, an important part of the Bay Area.
Do you want me to go again? Because I can piggyback on that note as well.
Go for it.
No, but my second band that was going to be like a point zero was going to be Operation Ivy.
Fuck yeah.
And as far as just I know the third wave of ska, a lot of people will
shit on it.
Well, a lot of people do shit on it. But a lot of people will say that Fishbone is the first third wave of ska band, or you can talk about the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and shit like that. But
where do the Specials fall into that?
Second wave.
Specials are second wave, my man.
Oof. Right.
Two-tone.
But just Operation the reason that I kind of think Op Ivy was different than all that is, of course, they didn't have any horns or anything like that in their music, and it was just, I think, the first actual ska punk band with just a touch of ska. I think I made a joke a couple of days ago while discussing Operation Ivy. Operation Ivy, they walked so that No Doubt and Sublime could run. You know what I mean? It really sucks what ska punk has turned into, but if you think about how influential a band can be, it's Operation Ivy only put out one album. Well, of course, they had that Hectic EP, but like put out one album and then broke up before, like, I think a lot of people could like really go and appreciate what they were doing, and then just have such a massive lasting effect on everybody. We talked about Operation Ivy 2 weeks ago or a week ago or something like that, I think, in our text message chain, talking about like, dude, Operation Ivy got back together and played a couple songs down in Los Angeles
with the
uh,
specials, I
with
believe.
the specials, correct, in somebody's backyard. So I can't tell you how many times growing up in high school somebody, like relayed a rumor that Operation Ivy was going to play at Gilman, and then everybody dropped everything to go up to go see him. And of course, they never played. It was just like, I'm like, this is a really good way to get everybody to go to your fucking show at Gilman.
Black Fork and the Criminals again.
Dang, dude. But yeah, so talking about the East Bay sound and talking about Bay Area, metal and punk. I think it was a pretty bitchin' time. Of course, none of us were there, but
did you bear witness?
I crossbore witness.
Keep it going.
No,
I am struggling.
I'll totally co-sign that one. I love Operation Ivy. I'll even take it a step further. Like, I think on this very podcast, I probably talk shit about third wave ska, but I would actually, if I'm being a good human being, argue that shit's cool and that shit's good, because if you're sort of baby stepping your way into a lot of this type of music, it's like an easy, safe, kind of fun entry point, and kind of who knows where you go from there.
Super fun. That's the
Yeah,
whole point, is fun.
totally.
I'll stand by the Aquabats still today. Aquabats fucking rule.
Stand on that fucking mountain, dude.
I will.
Die on that mountain, brother.
Yeah. The
I
other
saw
thing
Aquabats and they threw grilled cheese sandwiches out in the crowd.
that sounds about right.
Awesome.
That sounds about right. The other thing that popped in my head was, in terms of being the 0.0 band, quote unquote, maybe they weren't so much Operation Ivy, but definitely like underscoring the punk element of the ska punk thing. They're way more punk than fucking Mighty Mighty Boss Tones or Fishbone or a lot of that stuff that sort of came before it. Yeah, it could all sort of technically fall under that umbrella, but
it's just
like,
it's night and day different.
Totally. Like, Knowledge is a straight up punk song. Like, The Crowd is basically a hardcore song. I feel like they took sort of a lot of how reggae informed The Clash, and put their own spin on it, and then just sort of cranked the dial to 11, But yeah, I fucking love Operation Ivy.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, brother.
Hell
yeah, man. All right, solid picks. Does that mean we snake then back to Kyle?
I can connect. I can make a through line here.
Ooh.
So, Op Ivy. Everybody likes it. We agree that that was a solid band of the time, but then led to third wave of ska that's not so. Everybody likes Op Ivy. Led to some stuff not so great. I'm gonna say the same thing about Refused in the Shape of Punk to Come.
Ooh, interesting.
I still love that record. I still think it's amazing. But I think that's something that maybe we're trying to keep it within our time. I don't have anything Bay Area connected, but I would place that as like a turning point for a lot of like the Warped Tour, screamy bands, all that kind of stuff. Like, really picked up after that record came out. Yeah, I mean, like the floppy haircuts, like see all that. I feel like all that was very much centered and focused, like helped really usher that into like the mainstream of like hardcore and punk and stuff. And that was 2000. I felt like that was a turning point.
That was a turning point. I agree with that
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree as well.
So it led
I'll
to a
back
lot of terrible screamo bands. It led to a lot of like
It led to
bands.
the used.
Yeah,
I think, right?
yeah, like a lot of bands that were like in the hardcore scene, adjacent hardcore scene, where it was, you know, spreading out a little bit, trying to be like more, which is all great and everything, like doing more creative things, like more like different sound, but it all kind of very quickly became homogeneous, you know. Everybody was trying to rip off that record.
Do you think that they were the first? That was the first record to like, gosh, they don't sample stuff in there, but like they have like synthesis.
I'm sorry, I can't get over the fact that Kyle just said homogeneous.
Yeah, not
Homogeneous.
homogeneous, dude.
It said homogeneous.
He said homogeneous, and I was like, well, that guy's never heard anybody use that word.
Potato, man.
Yeah. Homogeneous right after Homo erectus and Homo sapien.
Anyway, sorry. Okay, I'll jump in real quick. Yeah, I agree. I think definitely you saw an influx in like the quote unquote sassy singer after Refused came out. I would also argue what's his name from Refused? I can't remember.
Dennis Lixon.
There you go.
I was going to say Sven.
Yeah.
Dennis homogeneous.
Yeah, Dennis is pretty much the only person I can fucking tolerate doing that shtick with that type of music and like still have it look cool in my book. Yeah, I saw a bunch of those types of bands. I would play with those types of bands, and it always kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely a band that we talked about reunions and all that. I think maybe on the first podcast, but they were one that I feel like they should have just stayed broken up. You know,
Totally.
I get why they didn't, but I feel like it's kind of hurt their legacy as far as like they were unimpeachable for sure. No, even though they were influential, no one really even got close, you know, to that album. And then they came out and tried to like one up it, and it just was like overproduced, you know.
It
Dreck,
sounded like
basically.
Muse to me.
Yeah, it was too much. Yeah, it was too much.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, I guess the other thing that comes to mind is just how much media that riff is in. Like movies, TV.
The new noise riff.
It's popped up everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everywhere. It's really weird. I think like if you work for like a music department of a studio or something, it must have like made it onto their like base, like use these songs list or something.
It's a good tension builder.
That's the truth, Ruth.
For sure.
It's a builder.
It's a builder. Well, let's build back to Nate.
All right. Yeah, actually,
segue.
Nice. And I have a segue too. I'm going to stay in Sweden. As I alluded to earlier. So here's a band that you know is credited with the whole genre. It's a very clear, you know, through line on that genre, and that's Meshuggah with Gent. But I don't want to talk about that shit because most of it kind of sucks.
Wait, sorry.
I
know you just said you weren't going to talk about it, but I don't understand the words that you just said. You said Meshuggah with Gent?
Yeah, so there's a genre of music called it's spelled DJENT.
What is that?
I don't know. That's the name of the genre. It's like every
genre.
Every modern metal
That's
band that
because
plays
it's
with
like
like
the sound.
eight string guitars and
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
that's crazy. I had no
It's
idea
like,
there was actually like a term for. I always thought of it just as like Meshuggah
oh, we're gonna talk
sound.
about Judd.
you could, yeah, they are,
All right, keep talking about Meshuggah, Nate. Sorry.
all good. Yeah. So anyway, like Animals as leaders, and which we mentioned before, and like tons and tons of new bands have that. Like if you have like an 8-string guitar and it's really deeply tuned. But anyway, that genre aside, what I wanted to kind of maybe to our 3 listeners illustrate was at the time, and you talked about it, Kyle. Like, did you experience it when their EP None came out, which was before Destroy, Erase, Improve? That like doesn't get talked about enough as far as how influential it was, but super underground like at the time, but doing things that no one had done in a similar way to Refused, and maybe Refused was slightly even influenced by this. But the bands I know for sure were influenced and like could pull up quotes from are like Converge and Botch and Dillinger Escape Plan and the quote unquote mathcore bands of the time, because these guys were doing that first in like 95. And yeah, it was just a total. There's a song called called Sickening on this EP None, that's
Whoa.
I yeah, no.
There we go. Yeah, who just did that? Was that you, Wesley?
Yeah.
Who cares, man?
Sorry.
Is that the name? Is that the name of that song too?
Oh, that
No,
Liz
it's
just cruised
the
by
si-
and did that.
No,
No.
The Sickness. Okay, all right.
Down with the sick.
Down with the sickness, brother.
Well, get down with The Sickening, because yeah, this song is crazy, dude. The guys in the band definitely.
I'm sorry, dude.
Hang on. He really ruined your flow. Threw a grenade in here.
Very influential band. So, Meshuggah.
I don't
Nice.
know enough about Meshuggah.
I
haven't really
saw them
listened to any of
actually.
that.
I saw them on their first tour in the States. It was them, and then Sick of It All, and then Slayer. And Meshuggah's
Wow.
maybe the only band I've seen open for Slayer. Well, I've only seen Slayer a couple times, but the place is maybe half full as the Warfield. But they still kick so much ass. And then Sick of It All came out and got booed off the stage, which most people who open for Slayer do. But anyway, Meshuggah did not. So it says
Nice.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been sort of Meshuggah adjacent. Like I feel like you and a few other friends I can point to are very ride or die for Meshuggah. And I've always kind of dabbled, but respect. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think you and I remember listening to that EP in the studio back in the
That's
day.
the one that does it for me, honestly.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but their earlier stuff was anyway. I won't harp on them too much more. But yeah, basically anything after like Chaos Fear, I lose interest in, that's been like 5 albums now that I'm not ride or die for. But there's that middle period where I am.
Nice. Fuck,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a not good segue because this is some night and day comparisons right now. Are you guys familiar with the artist Brian Eno?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. How's that? All right, hear me out. I love Brian Eno.
Turn on the warm jets.
Fuck yeah,
Wes.
dude. Yep.
Yeah,
Those 4 quote unquote vocal albums that he put out
Needle
after.
and the Camel's Eye. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, after he pieced out from Roxy Music, who I also love. All 4 of those albums are great. On the second album in particular, which is called Taking of Tiger Mountain by Strategy, there's a song called Third Uncle. Third Uncle is a super fucking interesting song because it is kind of the first post-punk song that came out before even punk was really a thing.
It's not going to be post.
There you go, man. Exactly.
Whoa.
Exactly.
Whoa.
But it has a few things going on in it. Like once the vocals kick in, it could very much sound like sort of like a Warsaw era Joy Division song. It kind of has like a faster sort of punk adjacent beat that wouldn't really become more heard probably until the next 5 years or so. And then it almost has like kind of a thrashy guitar riff to it that's really fast. So there's kind of like a few things going on that really wouldn't sort of surface until, like I said, like the next 5 years or so. But yeah, I know Bauhaus does a pretty popular cover of it as well. So it certainly sort of wormed its way through musical history quite literally, if not just people sort of picking it apart potentially and just taking the parts that they liked. I will also say that like out of those 4 albums, that's the second one, Taking of Tiger Mountain, is probably my least favorite. But it's one of those albums where it's like the one song makes it so good that you probably just end up buying the record just to have the one song. There's kind of like a lot of like kooky Brian Eno stuff on there, which is cool, but it's just not always what I'm in the mood for. And then in sort of doing my typical prep for the pod, which means about 10 minutes worth of looking at Wikipedia, have you guys ever heard of Oblique Strategies?
Yeah,
I have not.
Have it in my front room. A little
Oh, nice.
card set.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Well, you might be a better position then to talk about it than I would. I know about it as a thing. I had heard about it, I think, back when I was in recording school or working at the studio with Nate. But it is a sort of creative trigger when you are facing some form of like say writer's block, creative block that can sort of prime you to take next steps. So it's a series of cards that have like a bunch of different prompts that can give you like a different viewpoint or a different approach to say in this case the album that you're trying to write. I don't know, you take it from there, Nate, because obviously
like a
you have it
magic
in your living
8-ball?
room.
Kinda.
In a way.
I will take it from there. Okay, give me an example of something that we're stuck on.
What's the next What's the next topic of the podcast?
Okay, next topic of podcast. Honor thy error as a hidden intention. So happy accidents, maybe. I don't know.
No, what to me the error would be the constant reference to Bigfoot. So to me, this would say that I should honor that, and really the subject of the next podcast should be Bigfoot. That's how I would take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, your cards have spoken.
But anyways, yeah, it's like a series of questions that sort of just get your brain going in case you're stuck creatively. A ton of bands have used it. Sorry, I should have probably led with this. At least as far as what I could tell, Brian Eno helped develop this quote unquote system. And it was used beginning with this record and then used on a ton of subsequent projects that he had a hand in, like all the way from the Berlin trio of records he produced for David Bowie, all the way up to the stuff he did with Coldplay. So kind of like a neat little addendum to this album and this song. And it kind of made me curious to buy my own pack of Oblique Strategies just to fuck around with it. Yeah, but thanks, man.
That was good.
That was good.
Brian,
the rest of mine are so bad.
Kyle, do you only have one on the table or do you have 2?
I said Slayer and refused so far.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got a segue into speaking of David Bowie,
Mm.
Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
For my third, I stayed within the Bay Area. However, I switched genres in a major way, and I went to disco.
Awesome. Let's fucking go, dude.
So this one isn't really a like a sound that was different, but more of like a cultural change within music that is often overlooked. And David Bowie credited this artist with like kind of breaking down a lot of the doors and and stigmas so that David Bowie could go and be David Bowie. And the person I'm speaking of is Sylvester.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My man.
So
Mhm.
Sylvester, I think he ran away from his home when he was like 14 or 15 years old and hitchhiked up to San Francisco and was a rhythm and blues player for a little bit and then transitioned into disco. But one of the big things that he did that paved the way for punk bands like the New York Dolls or they're not really, what would you classify them as? Power pop, punk?
The New
What
York Dolls?
Yeah,
Kind of proto punk / glam, I guess.
glam. That's what I was looking for. But
Mm.
but Sylvester was the first cross dresser, and he was the
Mm.
first person to ever cross dress on stage, and he was arrested several times for it. Because at the time it was illegal for to do that. It was considered indecent. Um, it talked about him like hitchhiking all over the place, like wearing a dress, but he was the first person to really get up on stage and cross dress and like I said, paved the way for somebody like David Bowie, who I think you could arguably say might be like one of the most influential musicians in music's history, right? Um, but
Certainly rock music.
for rock music, yeah. Um, yeah, so my third pick is Sylvester.
Nice.
Like, yeah, that
That's-
song
Yeah.
hits home, man.
I like that. That was a good one.
Sing me a little lick of that song, Justin. How's that go?
Which one do you want me to sing? It his biggest hit is "You Make Me Feel," but I think
That's
you
the
want
one.
to
Yeah.
hear. I cannot sing that on a.
You make me feel.
Wesley, yes, my man.
It's funny. Speaking of, I'm trying to remember like what I was listening to. But I think, and I love David Bowie. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you have to scratch the surface too hard with David Bowie to find the people that he kind of ripped off to do a lot of the stuff he did. And I don't think he really gives a shit. And I think most of the people he did rip off were kind of cool with it. But it is sort of funny, I guess, in the spirit of this conversation that, you know, nothing truly is created in a vacuum. Everybody has their influences and steals from the greats, whether
100%.
they're known or not.
Let me take one back close to home. I want to thank 18 Visions for making my high school life super weird. They're responsible for fucking all the tight pants and fashion and
Fashion core.
yeah, very much so. In trying to remember it, it was sort of like one day hardcore in Orange County to me was like baggy pants and basketball jerseys, and seemingly like overnight it was just everybody shifted, and I entirely credit that to those dudes. Like they influenced an entire scene in Southern California. Probably spread.
Yep.
You know,
Spread big time up here.
Spread
Yep.
nationwide, right? And that's also sort of around the same time as Refused too, you know, but like that was very much like ushering in of like, let's get fucking weird. Like white belts, ties, like why? But you know, how do I say that word correctly? A bunch of
Oh, what did you say before? Homogeneous.
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 Yeah. So it was very
Homogeneous.
like they made a very distinct decision to do something different, and then quickly all of the scenes followed. So
So,
shout out 18 Vision. Not even
uh,
musically, it was more of like a look.
yeah, I'll totally agree with that. And do you guys remember those Hellfest DVDs that would come out?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So I don't know if you ever listened to the commentaries, but they were actually hilarious, and they would kind of like clown on some of the bands and stuff. Interesting. So obviously, like I think 18 Visions was probably a easy target at that time, but I specifically remember somebody on that commentary track being like, "Say what you will about this band, but they played Hellfest, and they looked like the way they looked." And then they came back the next year and everyone looked like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that shit spread like wildfire. I think it probably got absorbed by a lot of lame people. And then turned into kind of that weird sort of scene style that is not cool in my book. But at the time, sort of like thinking about like straight edge hardcore quote unquote culture and like Jinko jeans and jerseys and wearing everything 5 times too big and probably taking yourself way too seriously.
Yeah.
To me it was super punk rock and like kind of a breath of fresh air.
For sure. Yeah, it was.
To see somebody do something different and for lack of a better term, stylish, you know. So yeah,
they kicked it.
Yeah, man,
it off.
I'm on board with that.
All right, I'll segue out of that. Maybe I'm last, but I'll go with a modern, I guess, the modern scene in a way. But so obviously, Turnstile's the biggest, hardcore band that's ever existed, which is kind of crazy to think about. But where did they come from, right? And then I think that you could trace, a lot of their influence to all the way back to this band Iron Age. Are you guys familiar with?
Motherfucker, dude.
Oh, I didn't know you had one more.
Stole 2 of mine.
Oh, I didn't know you had another one.
Mention.
Oh, okay. It's just an honorable mention. Don't get so worked up.
I'm curious to see where you go with this because I have my do your spiel and then I'll do my spiel.
Okay. All right. Well. So Iron Age, obviously, out of Austin area, Texas. They started up, I think, 2004. They, directly, I mean, and multiple mentions of Power Trip, taking that and running with it, and just building on. It's the music's nothing original, right? It's a lot of throwback, kind of crossover stuff, definite thrash with kind of hardcore leaning vocals. And then, so Power Trip obviously was the biggest, kind of up and coming band, obviously, until Riley passed away. Rest in peace. And my I'll admit that's somewhat tenuous, but there are interviews where the dudes from Turnstile talk about how influential, Power Trip was to them. So I'm not saying Turnstile wouldn't exist without Power Trip, but I think that the way they got the underground kind of excited again and the hardcore and metal kids excited, I think kind of lit a fire that kind of led to where Turnstile is now.
I thought it was because of the congas.
The kunga.
That's what gets me riled up.
So my take on the fucking almighty Iron Age, I was kind of similar but different. And again, I'm like sure I'm probably wrong and just talking out of my ass, and obviously I'm not from Texas, but as far as I'm concerned, definitely put Texas on the map, back on the map, planted the flag on the map in some way. And they were sort of the first band from that area that I could think of that just sort of arrived and dominated in that way.
From Austin.
And yeah, if Nate says so, he went deeper with it than I did, because I sort of thought about it and then abandoned it. But you can draw the line from Iron Age to Bitter End to Power Trip to now basically like every fifth sort of thrash death metal band seems to be from Texas somehow and have like one of the same like 5 dudes in it. So it's kind of like one of like the scenes right now that are thriving. And as far back as I could remember, Power Trip was sort of Iron Age was the seed of that. Also fucking great live. Kind of it's weird sort of talking about 18 Visions, not in that sort of spiky hair, but sort of in a weird, they had like a weird sort of rock and roll swagger to them that I appreciated live, and were fucking cool. And I'm straining to remember the singer of Iron Age's new like heavy metal band, or not even new at this point, but it's like traditional heavy metal.
He's in a couple bands, like you said, and with guys from Power Trip, or one of them's I think with one of the guys from Power Trip. But yeah, their guitar player Wade, I forget his last name, passed away I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And it's crazy like listening to their stuff. It holds up very well, but you definitely hear the Power Trip, a lot of the Power Trip kind of straight up riffs, coming through on that one.
Okay, layer on top of that. Honorable mention, DRI.
Oh.
Crossover. The album is called Crossover. It started the whole genre. It's named after that album, Crossover.
There you go.
You want to hear more of these? I got more of them.
Well, okay. So DRI, does that predate Cro-Mags as far as, I know that it's called Crossover, but I don't know. Like in my mind, like Cro-Mags are kind of definitely early.
You know who
crossover.
We need to have to speak on this is Atheel. Atheel would be able to tell you, because he bore witness, I do believe.
He was there.
Yeah.
He was there.
Crossboard.
Yeah. I might be wrong, but I'm going to say DRI was first.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a heavy cross to bear for Atheel.
I've got an honorable mention about metal. And
do it.
And I was gonna say, you can look at black metal like almost like ska, as far as there's being waves, right? So like the first wave being like
it's just super fun
bands, and just good times,
Yeah.
You have like Bathory Venom, and then you get Burzum, and you get Mayhem and Dark Throne and shit like that. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about was Emperor, because Emperor was the first band to start using synthesizers. The first
I thought
black metal band.
I thought I mentioned this too. That's awesome.
And they got like hassled by like a bunch of the guys that were like super like no, this is not black metal because we have a fucking synthesizer in this. But think of all the bands that came afterwards that use synthesizers in black metal that are fucking awesome.
Well, what was cool about it was they could kind of pull off these kind of operatic, like they had the like choir, samples or whatever that just made it so freaking epic. It was awesome.
Well, shit, I was going to talk about Mortis.
I always thought
this Mortis, baby.
I thought it was Mortis forever, but it is Mortis.
Dungeon synth.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Were they the Ground Zero dungeon synth?
Oh yeah, you could I mean, you can kind of trace them back to it.
We probably should have talked about this in the pregame, but it just occurred to me. We've been talking for the past couple episodes about signing off with the what would you recommend? What have you been into lately? So if y'all don't mind, we can take a crack at it. I know what I'm going to
shit.
say. I know what I'm
Okay.
going to say if you need a second to think about it.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, it'll go me, Kyle, then Justin or Nate. So I already mentioned it, but what I am thoroughly fucking into right now is the band The Armed. I saw them last night at the El Rey here in LA. And like I said, I don't go to shows very often anymore, especially on a quote unquote school night. But I had a good feeling about this one, and it did not disappoint. The Armed are fucking rad live. And for anyone who's not super familiar with the band, started off as kind of like a Dillinger-y, Escape Plan, Mathy type band, and then album by album have just sort of progressed into doing basically whatever the fuck they want with whoever they want, because the lineup of the band constantly changes, not only from album to album, but kind of like from tour to tour. So it was pretty rad to see just like a ton of like switching around and people coming off stage and coming on stage pretty seamlessly, song to song. And there were some VIPs in the house. Dude from Queens of the Stone Age was probably playing guitar for half the set, not Josh Homme, but their other guitar player dude whose name I don't know. And then the cherry on top was they played Converge's You Fail Me with Ben from Converge playing the drums, which was just fucking rad, because for the first like 4 or 5 seconds of that song, I'm like, sounds like they're playing You Fail Me. And then it's like, oh, fuck, they're playing You Fail Me. And then everybody goes ape shit. So, yeah, The Armed. If we do a... What's that?
It's a good one, man.
Oh, thanks.
That's-
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure if we do like a best of the year episode, which I have to imagine we probably will, their album that came out this year, Perfect Saviors, is going to be pretty far up there for me. I kind of can't stop listening to it.
That's cool. It's because you actually went out into the world and saw it. And
I bore witness.
Mm-hmm.
I witnessed it with my own 2 eyes, so I can thoroughly vouch for it with full confidence.
Oh, yeah.
What do you vouch for with full confidence, Kyle?
I have full confidence in not much, man. But what I've been into, I don't go anywhere.
Jesus.
Sorry. That was,
Way to shit on the fucking
Kyle's like,
here.
I'm ready. I got something. I don't have my.
Starting with the Biden administration. Yeah.
God, everything's fucked. I got a couple I'll list off that I've not. The only thing that's new that just came out was Malfet, the Dungeon Sense project.
Ooh.
Alban Arthan. I'm not joking. It's fucking rad. It's really, really cool. Check out Malfet. And the other one was Viagra Boys.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I've been on a Viagra Boys kick for a couple of months.
We talked about how...
I know Wesley's into it, but...
I love the Viagra Boys. I've been on Team Viagra, for a number of years now. And just recently found out the singer is from Marin County.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, especially for being a band based out of Sweden. That's pretty weird.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah.
You boys like Viagra Boys? Boys?
Yeah, I saw them at the Independent semi recently within the last couple of years. I liked him. One of my chiefs at work is really good friends with the singer's dad, and he was like, "You got to go check out this band, man." I was like, "Oh, okay," but yeah, I dig it. It's cool.
It's a good time. It's like third wave ska.
That's right.
Nate or Justin, do you have enough time to recommend something?
I haven't been listening to shit that's new lately, man. I've been
That's
listening.
new.
It doesn't have to be new.
Majesties is still on heavy rotation in my life.
Mhm.
I love that
That's
fucking record.
That's so
I
good.
absolutely love it. I'm listening to a fucking obscene amount of Military Gun right now.
Yeah, I that's my album of the year so far. So
It,
catchy. Yeah.
it's so good. It's so good. So I love Military Gun. And then I've been on a massive darkwave kick where I'm just listening to like everything I possibly can that's darkwave.
Oh, bud, I'll send you some playlists.
Oh yeah.
Powell. Cool. What about you, Nate?
Yeah, I it's funny I didn't really have anything prepared for this because there hasn't been a ton that's jumped out, but I think there's a stream now of it, but that thing that just dropped today, that Dream Unending and Worm
Yeah.
split is
Listen
I'm
to it
really
all day.
oh fuck, how is it?
I haven't
It's
even heard
cool.
it.
Okay, yeah.
I kind of in the same way. Jury's still out on Dream Unending. For me, I dabbled with their shit a little bit before.
That last one is incredible, I thought. But yeah, go ahead.
I get that, you know. I think what it is like if you're actually a musician, you can appreciate it, but if you're an idiot like me, you're just kind of like, eh.
It's Berkeley College of Music.
Totally.
Metal.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got to know math to appreciate it, maybe. But the Worm side, however, if you need some fucking spooky tunes for spooky season, that is the cut right there. So back on
Nice,
the Emperor tip with all the synths and stuff.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's cool.
The other one I'm super looking forward to, everything that's dropped from it sounds killer, is that new End album.
Yes.
It just sounds like a total step up in, you know, production and style, and sounds amazing. Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, that probably my most anticipated album left this year is that, and the last song that they dropped with the girl from Harriet in it is probably the best one, and it gets me even more stoked for it, and like a really good example, one of the best endings, I will argue.
Great ending.
Yep.